Welcome to a best practices video for grade 3. We're going to look at the unit for represent and interpret fractions. I'm Jamie Velasquez Spady. Let's get started. Here's an eliminate it for a possible engage for your students. You can ask which pizza would you eliminate and why. Potential answers are students will want to eliminate the rectangular pizza, possibly the pizza that has a slice kind of taken out of it, and you want to make sure that students have an opportunity to discuss why they would eliminate different things. Hopefully you have some students that would like to eliminate the top right pizza because the pieces are not cut into equal sizes. And you can follow up with a question like which pizzas are cut into equal size pieces, just in case the conversations don't go in that direction. In this unit, represent and interpret fractions, students will be representing and interpreting unit fractions using manipulatives and visual models, such as pictorial models and number lines. Unit fractions can be a part of a whole, part of a set, a point on a number line, a visual model, or in fractional notation. Students will be representing and interpreting fractions, including fractions greater than 1, using unit fractions such as 1/2, 1/3, and 1/4. Denominators are limited to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, and 12. The fifths, tenths, and twelfths are new to 3rd grade this year. And students will also be reading and writing fractions using standard form, numeral word form, and word form. What does student learning look like in the classroom? In this unit, there are 3 explorers. The first explorers will be focused on making sense of fractions. Students will use puzzles to find equal sized pieces and then name those unit fractions of each whole, as you see them doing in their journal. Also, in the first explore, students will understand fractions as a set. So this student is separating the colored tiles into different sets and then will count the total in each set and identify the unit fractions of that set. So in their student journals, you'll see they will have a red set, blue set, yellow set, green set, and in each set they will identify what unit fractions go in there. I believe the yellow set has 1/5 and so on. In the second explore, students will be focusing on finding fractions on a number line and identifying those fractions. You see the unit cubes in connection to the number line for equal partitioning spaces, and this will include fractions greater than 1. The last explore is focused on reading and writing fractions in different forms. You see this snapshot of students will find fractions on a number line and then name them in word form, numeral word form, and standard form. Throughout this unit, especially in the explorers, students will be showing MTRs 2, 4, and 5. What does student learning sound like in the classroom? We're going to look at some math chat cards from STEMscopes to see what discussion questions the teacher could pose or possibly students could pose for one another during discussions. So we have questions about the numerators and the denominators so students can explain the positions, questions about finding parts of a whole and parts of a set, understanding why the numerators might be greater than the denominators and fractions greater than 1, and really understanding what that means. So having students discuss and explain what that meant. And how does the vocabulary word of word form relate to how the word form of a fraction is represented? So making those connections between the different ways you can write fractions. What do you notice about the changes of how a fraction is written as it progresses from word form to numeral word form to standard form? So again, those connections between the different forms of the word. And again, you will see MTRs happening through these discussions, especially MTRs 2 and 4. Students and teachers should be using precise math vocabulary throughout this unit in discussions and in writing about fractions. These vocabulary words come from the parent letter in STEMscopes: denominator, fraction, numerator, numeral word form, unit fraction, and word form. There may be other important words that are used, but these are definitely focused on fractions for the unit. There are many different ways students can demonstrate their knowledge and their learning of fractions throughout the unit. Each explorer has exit ticket to follow During the Explore, students will show in their math journals, their Show What You Knows, Fluency Builder activities, and many more opportunities throughout. We want to ask questions to students to gauge their understanding throughout the unit. So in addition to the math chat possible discussion cards, there are also questions and anticipated responses located on mathsmarts.com. You can get there by clicking on any of the linked benchmarks in our instructional guides. There are some questions that will help us gauge their learning, like how did you know what denominator to use? What is always the same about the numerator and the denominator in a unit fraction? Giving students a task like represent 11/6 in as many ways as you can using different forms of the number. These questions and tasks are great to use whenever talking to students about their learning. Also in the parent letter, there is a tic-tac-toe choice board with some engaging tasks or activities for students to do at home. This one is called Dessert Fun. So during snack time or maybe during a dessert, allow your child to help create equal-sized parts of the cookie or like the picture, a brownie. Help your child partition the dessert into halves, thirds, or fourths, or any other fraction within the denominator limits. Ask them questions about partitioning the dessert in different ways. If you have two whole desserts, how can we write the fraction parts of 6 pieces of the dessert? So just making sure that you are asking the students and allowing them to share with the family their understanding of fractions. Fractions are very popular in math jokes. I'm going to leave you with these two. Hope that you've learned a lot today, and we'll see you next time.